Welcome back, Schmidtheads, to another week of Undercover Picks. I'm your host, Jojo Suave. This is week 13. We pick every spread, every NFL game against the spread, and we don't pick wrong more than we pick right. Yep, that's my intro this time. So let's just get started on week 13. We had a bad Thanksgiving, a bad Black Friday. Didn't get a single game right. That's my worst, I feel like, streak ever. I don't think I've ever had just a complete dud where I didn't get anything right. I did win a bet though. I bet all the underdogs. So if I get 100 subscribers, I will show you all my bets. I didn't bet any of the games I picked against the spread, but I bet all the underdogs to win, and that hit. It actually, it's the only thing keeping me going through getting all the games wrong. That was horrible. I apologize. I kind of rushed those picks. I didn't really look into the games too much, Thanksgiving family. No excuses, though. 94 wins against the spread this year. That's still not bad. And this week still isn't over. It's far from over. We got 12 games left. There's still a chance to turn this week around. Only 2 weeks this year where we hit below 50%. The one week was 4 out of 16 games we won. That's 25%. Horrible. And the other week was 7 out of 15 games. That's just below 50%. So that week, not too bad to go under 50%. Every other week we've hit over 50%. So I got 3 money picks this week. I'm feeling really good about those. And let's get to these games. First game, we got the Los Angeles Rams at the Carolina Panthers. Panthers are plus 10.5 at home. This might be a game I swap, but right now I don't know why I got the Carolina Panthers locked in to cover the spread. Los Angeles Rams, obviously, to win. When Panthers lose, they lose by more than 10 points. That's what I said last week, and I didn't think they were going to win last week, and that's the main reason why I picked against them. I don't think they're going to win this week, but something tells me just the back end of the year, Panthers are going to kind of look like they did last year and put up a fight in all their games. They actually have a chance this year, unlike last year, to make playoffs. They got the same amount of wins as the Bucks. Bucks are on a slide, so they can come into this game motivated, trying to win with possibility to be number one in their division. I don't think they're going to win. I think they'll put up a fight, though. Bryce Young, after throwing up 400 yards, went right back to throwing under 200. So that's a trend. I think it's more likely Bryce Young throws under 200 yards this game. Matt Stafford's on fire. He has so many weapons he could throw the ball to with Adams, Nakua, his tight end. He got 3 touchdowns 3 weeks in a row. The running back, Kyrie Williams, he's got too many guys, and he's playing lights out this year. Only 2 interceptions, and I've been saying this in my last few videos, so I'm not going to bank on it this week, but he is due for an interception. You know what I mean? Because it is Matt Stafford. He's always been a good quarterback, but never, he's going to throw an interception again one day. And it's always to odd teams. Whenever quarterbacks go on amazing streaks like this, they always end up throwing their interception, from what I notice, to an odd team like the Panthers. Nobody like that dominant. And the Panthers did get 3 interceptions in the first half on Purdy last Monday. So I don't know. I think the Rams should blow out the Panthers here. They're a much better team. But the Panthers at home with a chance to be first in division, I think they go into this game with some motivation. Their defense isn't that great, but they've been playing pretty good the last few weeks, holding their opponents under 20 points. Rams have been blowing out every team in their win streak except for one. That was they've been winning by like over 14 points every game during their win streak. I forget what game it was close, but I do think the Rams are like probably top 3 team in the league, no doubt. Maybe the best. We'll just say top 3. But yeah, I don't think I'm just banking off the chance that we're not going to see them blow every single team out to end the season. I'm not feeling super good about this pick, but I gotta go Panthers, getting a lot of points at home, and their season is very much alive. They're in it, they're not trying to climb up from the bottom. They're in it right now, so they just gotta win games. Not gonna win this week, but anyway. Before I go on, is there anything? The Panthers do have a bye next week. I do like picking teams when they're going into a bye, especially the Panthers with a 2-game win streak. They're probably gonna wanna they're gonna try their best to go into the bye with a win, like no matter how bad it looks. I think So I think they give it their all, knowing that they get a whole week's rest. I don't think they'll be giving up unless it's a complete, absolute blowout, which is very much possible. I do think they hang in there, though. They did move the ball pretty good against the Niners, even though they have a very banged-up defense. A lot of people discredit the Niners' defense because of how injured they are. I think they got great coaching on the Niners. So the injuries, they matter, of course, but they're not going to be as big as an impact as everybody thinks. But anyway, that's all I got, I believe. So, yeah, Panthers, when they lose, it's usually by more than 10 points. Niners, when they win, it's usually by more than 10 points. I feel like when I've been going based off stats like that, I've been getting my picks wrong. I think I did that a lot for Thanksgiving. That's how I rushed my picks, so I'm not going to really take that stat with a grain of salt. Anyway, next game, we got the San Francisco 49ers at the Cleveland Browns. Browns are plus 4.5. We got them at 4.5. I'm going to put my money on this game. We're going San Francisco 49ers to win and to cover. I think the Browns are starting to get credit. Their defense is great, but I feel like it's not like they're not giving up a lot of points this year. It's mainly Myles Garrett getting to the quarterback and them being able to sustain their drives or stop, the opposing team's drives. Purdy, the offense, I think they're going to keep moving the ball. Purdy's been turning the ball over a lot. 3 turnovers in the first half last week, and they were still able to cover. He was able to recover in the second half and put up a better performance. I do think he'll calm down on the turnovers at some point. Niners, this is a must-win for them. Even though they got 8 wins already, they're in a division with the Rams and the Seahawks, so Niners are probably going to be in must-win mode every week. And then the Browns with Shedeur Sanders. Sanders, he had a pretty good game last week, I guess. He didn't... but 3 of his passes accounted for, I didn't do the math, but I'm going to say 80% or more of his yards. Other than that, if you take away those 3 passes, which I'm not, but it's not like he was dominating the whole game. He had 3 good passes, so out of the whole game, 3 passes, and it made a difference. They won the game, but I don't feel like he had control of the game, I guess. He has confidence, that's good, but now he's going against Niners defense that I think he's not going against the Raiders, you know what I mean? So you got to take that game with a grain of salt. That's the thing that sucks for Shedeur Sanders. He was going first win was against the Raiders, so nobody's gonna give him credit, including me. Um, the Raiders have been letting a lot of teams score on them, bad teams. So Raiders haven't been winning this year. They look terrible, frustrated. Get to that later. But Browns, Shadori got his first win, and first win in I don't know how many years as a starting quarterback to get their first win with the Browns. It's been a long time, but it's the Browns. So how much of a feat is that? It's like more of it's about time type of thing. I don't think it's because he obviously didn't play lights out or. But yeah, I think this is an easy game. I think the coaching is much better on the Niners. I think their defense is gonna make Sanders force some turnovers, and yeah, I just think their offense is this defense. Purdy doesn't get sacked a lot, and now Garrett Williams is going against Trent Williams. Trent Williams usually matches up good against Garrett Williams, doesn't give up too much. It's going to be a tough game, a long game, but he usually doesn't give up much to him. But Williams is on a tear this year, so I'm worried, maybe he does get a couple sacks, but he's also 4.5 sacks away from breaking the record, so with a lot of football left to play this year, I don't think he destroys that record. He probably beats it by like a sack, maybe two. That's how it usually goes when players are breaking records or on pace to break a record. They end up slowing down no matter what the record is, and then they don't get it till like that last game or two. So that's what I think. I think there's a chance his sacks slow down a little bit. This could be the game where he only gets maybe one sack at the end of the game when it doesn't matter. But it will matter to him because he'll be close to that streak. He'll say it doesn't matter in the interview, blah, blah, blah. But whatever. I got my money on the Niners this game. Easy money pick. Next game, we got the Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. Colts are -4.5. This game is a little tough for me, but I think I'm going to go with what's most exciting here. The Houston Texans. Yeah, I'm going to have the Texans to win and to cover. The Colts have been, I can't really say declining. They're still putting up a lot of points on offense. But then you also got Daniel Jones with a fractured fibula, and apparently he's been playing through this, and maybe that's why the Colts haven't been looking as good. And I think Daniel Jones has showed a couple signs of falling back to earth. Teams are figuring out how to slow down this offense, just stop Jonathan Taylor, and see if Daniel Jones, can play a clean game, which he was in the beginning of the season. So it seemed like they were unstoppable in the beginning of the season. They could do anything. So it does look like teams are figuring them out, finding weaknesses. And then you're going against the Texans. It's the best defense. This is the best defense, number one, in my opinion. After what I saw last week, they got that stat where they let quarterbacks run for a lot on them. They allow the most rushing yards to quarterbacks, but we saw last week maybe that perhaps that's a fluke. Second, Allen, how many times did they get him down? 7, I believe. And I watched that game. They were all over him. These weren't trip-ups. These were monster sacks. Good team defense. Nobody gave up on the plays. I expect them to come out the same way. They are on a win streak right now. I believe they got 2 wins. Stroud is coming back. That's going to be a big boost to his offense. Nobody's giving Stroud credit, but before he got out with that concussion, I remember I was starting to like the Texans because they always had a great defense all year, but now their offense was looking good. They were putting up points. They were moving the ball, having good drives. It wasn't they were looking more fluid, and I hope that's what they look like coming out. Their offense was putting up points without Stroud. Mills was doing all right, but I still think Stroud's a lot better than Mills. Give me Stroud all day. So I do think their offense will be able to put up points. Colts defense isn't the best. They'll definitely be able to move the ball, and the Houston defense, like they've been doing to every team all year, should give this Colts team a problem. The Colts schedule is much harder the rest of the year than they've had all year. They've played some pretty easy teams all year, and now they're playing tough teams. I don't see them winning. Maybe they win just a little bit more than 50% of their games because they are still a good team. I still think they're legit, but their schedule is a lot tougher. I don't see them looking as dominant to finish out the year. Other than that, I got a lot more written down, but let's get through this video. It's almost 1 o'clock. It's posting is late because of holidays, you know. But we need to post it anyway, even if I got 4 views, 5 views, because the documentation's there. Because when I end up having a really good record at the end of the year, people don't believe me, I got these videos to fall back on. So I'm good. Next game, we got the New Orleans Saints at the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins are -6.5. We got this spread at 6.5. I've seen it move all the way down to, I believe, 5.5, 5 in some areas. But I'm gonna go with the Saints to cover, the Dolphins to win. I just see the Saints giving the Dolphins a little bit of a problem, being a little bit of a headache. Shug isn't looking bad. He's completing his passes. He's throwing his balls on target. It's just the Saints. It's been their thing. They ain't winning games. So I do think at this point he's probably looking better than Rattler, which isn't saying anything at all. But yeah, the Dolphins, they let a Washington team with really nobody stay in the game, and yeah, that was out of the country and all that, but they should have lost that game to Washington too. That was such a weird game, weird outcome. We had Washington to cover. It didn't happen. So yeah, the Dolphins, their offense has been putting up points all year. They're capable of putting up 20 plus. But the Saints, they don't score really too much. They don't really put up more than 19 points a game. But this Dolphins defense has been looking a lot better. Been really weak all year. Is the Dolphins defense going to continue to play that way? It's an easy game for them to continue to play that way, going against the Saints offense. Kamara's not playing this game, but I don't know. He's been playing banged up all year, so maybe, it's good to finally get a running back that's 100% healthy in your lineup, and to give him the ball all the time, so you're not really having a guy out there while you're trying to keep him healthy while you're trying to win games. I don't know why they never let the guy rest, especially when their season's over. Let him heal up. But anyway, so now we got a younger running back. I have a feeling maybe we'll see a bit of a spark. He had some plays last week, so we already know we could get some chunk plays out of this guy. Maybe he can pop off. He's a question mark. Maybe defenders won't know how to tackle him, bring him down, what his tendencies are, all that stuff. We got that. And the Dolphins, they haven't been blowing teams out. They got 4 wins. They're on a nice 2-game win streak. But they haven't, they still don't really have anybody on offense. Tua has the most interceptions, tied with Geno in the league. So I feel like he could turn this ball over. It doesn't matter what defense he's playing. He has some really dumb throws. I don't think those days are over. And the Saints, their defense is good. Their defense is actually good. They don't give up a lot of yards per game. Um, their problem is the offense that always sets them up and puts them in bad positions. But I believe the offense will play a cleaner game for the Saints. Um, People say, "Oh, Miami, the hot weather," but I think at this time of the year, like anybody would love to play Miami where it's warm and they're not on the sidelines freezing their asses off. So, uh, and Miami can't be that hot in December. So I don't know what people are talking about. Probably like 70 degrees, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, next game, we got the Atlanta Falcons at the New York Jets. Jets are plus 2.5. This game was almost a toss-up for me, but then I think I came to my senses, and I'm going to go with Atlanta Falcons to win and to cover the spread. Falcons, they're not going to make the playoffs, but they still have a chance. They're in a pretty weak division right now. They win this game, they'll be back one game depending if Carolina or Tampa Bay wins this week. Possible they both lose. So, I do think we'll see some fight out of this Atlanta Falcons team. Kirk Cousins put up a good performance last week. We know we're not going to get that every week out of Kirk Cousins because he's getting older. He hasn't played a lot recently, and he's not mobile. I guess these days you need a mobile quarterback. He's not going to get any yards out of the pocket, scramble for first downs, any of that. Maybe we'll see something and the commentators will be shocked, surprised, and giggle a little bit, but not likely. And then you got the Jets. They're the Jets. They suck. They're starting Tyrod Taylor. This guy has played for almost every team in the league over Justin Fields. If they stick Justin Fields in this game, I'll be a little bit nervous because he can run and get some broken plays and turn them into something. But he won't complete any passes, so I'm not worried about that at all. Falcons defense is pretty good. It's pretty decent, definitely not bad. And they shouldn't have any trouble stopping this Jets offense. Tyrod Taylor definitely better at spreading the ball, moving the ball, getting the offense going. But they still struggle to score points on the Jets. I almost took the Jets this week, but I'm going to stick with the Atlanta Falcons. I did have the Jets selected at one point, and then I switched. I'm going to go Falcons minus 2.5. They still got Bijan Robinson. They're going without Drake London again, but that wasn't an issue for Cousins last week. It shouldn't be an issue against this Jets defense. They traded away all their best players. Their defense had like a 2-game streak where they looked good, and then they just started giving up points again. So this Jets defense is giving up points again, and Atlanta, they've had a pretty tough schedule lately. They've lost all those games, but they've been putting up points in all those games. 25 against the Pats. That's all I can remember right now, but they put up 24 last week. So, yeah, they're still putting up points. They're putting up 20-plus points, I think, like the past 5 weeks, maybe 4 of the 5, but they're still putting up a lot of points on offense. They're just losing their games, and they're not out of it, so I think they come in a little motivated and try to get an easy win against what should be an easy win against the Jets, even though they're both losing record teams. Atlanta has looked a lot more functional this year than the Jets. The Jets, maybe they put up a fight. It doesn't look that way, though. Doesn't look that way. Next game, we got the Arizona Cardinals at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is the first game of the week. Well, the second game of the week that I might swap. Tampa Bay minus 2.5. I'm going to go with... I just got this weird gut feeling, so I'm going to go with it, because every time I don't pull the trigger on these, I regret it every week. So we're going to see if this week I regret it. I'm going to go with the Cardinals to cover, Tampa Bay to win. And I'm pretty sure I'm sticking with that. Baker Mayfield is going to be playing, but is he completely healed? He couldn't even throw a long ball without getting pulled out of the game last week. That didn't look good to me. And so something tells me like he won't be slinging it. We won't see the normal Baker Mayfield we usually see. Or he could shock us all and he comes out and people joke and giggle about, oh, looks like he's just fine. If you were worried about him, well, but Tampa Bay's on a losing streak. They do need a win, so they're gonna come out fighting. Arizona, though, they've been putting up points recently, and Jacoby Brissett been slinging the ball a lot, and that's something you could do against this Buccaneers defense is throw the ball. So Arizona doesn't really have a run game, but I do. Something tells me that Baker Mayfield isn't 100%. He's not going to be slinging the ball and throwing deep ones. They're going to try his best to take it easy. I feel like Tampa Bay, if they do win this game and Baker's playing like that, it'll be one of those wins where they just try to win it and they don't care how. They don't care about how many points. Because there's no way Baker, I saw that throw that game, there's no way he just healed up from that. It doesn't feel at least a little bit of pain, and there won't be that little mental thing like, oh, like if I sling this, will I fucking re-aggravate it, you know, like. But Arizona's defense also isn't that good. They've been looking hideous lately, so maybe Baker can shock the world and put up a lot of points, and they get a good offensive performance. I think Bucky Irvin is coming back, so maybe they start running the ball again. I was thinking back, their offense was looking a lot better when he was out on the field running the ball. I don't really think I have much more for this game, just other than I have an odd feeling that Arizona, like Brissett's going to continue to throw the ball over 40 times and complete a lot of those passes and get a lot of passing yards. Arizona's going to put up a fight. They've been fighting every game. They're not giving up in the season. The Cardinals, like I said, they scored over 20 points their last 8 games. So they've been consistently scoring. They haven't stalled out really on offense. If Kyler Murray comes back, though, I might just have to... I'm going to check. I might fade Cardinals, but Harrison Jr. might come back. I'm going to check that injury. It's looking like he's going to play. That's what they said. He's expected to play. So that, should be a lot better for this Cards offense that's still putting up points without him. I got a lot more written down. As you can see, I got a shit ton written down. I didn't say half this shit. So, I definitely put a lot of thought into these picks if it doesn't seem like it. I don't want this video to go too much longer. Let's get to the next game. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans. Titans are plus 6.5. I'm going to go with the Titans to cover, Jacksonville Jaguars to win. I think Titans are going to continue. I think they're going to be one of those teams. They're a young team, pretty much a new team with all the players on offense and the coaches and all that, rookie quarterback. I I think they're going to be that team that keeps trying to get better and better, even though they're 1-10. They're already getting ready for next year. They want to get better. They want to try to build confidence going into next year. So they're going to keep trying to win these games. They're going to keep trying to play. I'm just nervous because Tennessee still has not scored more than 2 touchdowns this year on offense. I'm not counting that week against the Cardinals. I say it every video. The Cardinals pretty much gave their offense another touchdown. We're not counting gifts. Remember, Ward threw an interception. The guy who intercepted it fumbled it into the end zone at like 10 yards, like pretty much threw it in the end zone, and then a Titans guy recovered it. That's how they got their. That's the only game where their offense scored more than 3 touchdowns. And is that an offensive touchdown, really? I'm not counting it. So I'm nervous about that because Jacksonville Jaguars could definitely score a lot of points. They've been scoring points all year. They put up a lot of points, but they're also a team that allows other teams to crawl back in it if they're leading by a lot. They had a nice win last week? Against the Chargers. Completely decimated the Chargers. But, Chargers have had a bunch of weird games where they've just been flat, especially on offense. So, and Jacksonville Jaguars are hot and cold. Are they going to continue the year and finish it off hot? I kind of hope so because I have them in a future bet to win their division. I have a future bet with every division winner, and so far I'm right on all of them except for the Jags, and now we can say the Lions. Every other team winning the division right now, I have money on them. I have them picked to win the division. We just need the Jags and the Lions to get back into that spot, and I hit a nice ticket, baby. But like I said, more than 100 subscribers. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and I'll start posting all my bets, every single bet, the dumb ones, the lottery tickets, all that. Up 20% this year, but fell off a little bit in the past couple weeks. Still up 20%. I already cashed out a lot, and I started back to my basics, so my bets are smaller again. But I felt like I was betting a lot better when I had a little bit of money in my account. When I see a lot in my account, I'm not putting the care into my thoughts about what teams I'm picking and what I'm putting my money on. Anyway, next game. We have... I didn't finish Jacksonville Jaguars and Tennessee Titans. I'm sorry. I think we're going to see more spark out of this Tennessee offense. We got DK. It looks like Ward's starting to build chemistry with the team. I hope we see more out of the running. Pollard hasn't really done anything this year. I kind of thought in the beginning of the year and even going through the year, this guy should have some good games, and it just hasn't happened. So I kind of don't count on it now. I just hope that the Titans stay in this game. The Jaguars don't blow them out. Maybe we get a back door. Titans have covered their last 3. They've covered a lot for a team with only 1 win, so that worries me. Jacksonville could very well blow this team out. But, yeah, I just feel like, Titans got to start getting the fans excited for next year and got to give people something to talk about during the offseason. And if they just stink it up and suck the rest of the year, all people are going to say is they're suck, and that's really not much to talk about. They need some sort of optimism. So let's go Titans to cover, Jacksonville Jaguars to win. I believe Titans games will start being close to end out the year. To at least, people could at least say, oh, they were that close to winning these games, and their record could have been, nah. All right. Next game, we're in the 4 o'clock games. Finally, I'm feeling good about the 4 o'clock games. I'm not going to lie to you guys. First game in the 4 o'clock slot, we got the Minnesota Vikings at the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks, we got them at -10.5. That line moved up to -11.5. I gotta go Seattle Seahawks, and I feel like I'd be a fool not to put my money on this one. Seattle couldn't cover against Tennessee, but like I said, Tennessee's gonna try the whole optimism thing, right? Minnesota, they are down bad right now. I don't see any motivation coming into this game for them to even try to win this game. I think they'll try to stay in it, but once they're down by a touchdown or 10 points, once it gets to double digits, I think they'll just be like, fuck it. Like, there's no worth trying. Who's starting at quarterback? Brosner. I don't even know how to say his name. I don't think anybody does. That's why I don't know how to say it, because I haven't seen a video where anybody didn't struggle or like say his name without a question mark at the end of it. But McCarthy sucked, and now so you got that guy's backup coming in, right? Wentz sucked. McCarthy was Wentz backup, obviously, and now you got this guy's backup to Wentz's backup. You know, like, so I can't. I would not. I don't think even with a gun to my head pick the Minnesota Vikings to cover this spread, honestly. So I got to put my money on the Seattle Seahawks to cover the 11.5. Darnold, clean game last week after 4 interceptions the week before. I knew that would clean up. Seattle's defense, top 2 defense in the league. I think they're right behind the Texans. Before it was... I was teetering between who was better between the two, but right now it looks like Texans got that. But Seattle, their defense isn't that far behind. They're like I said, teetering. After this week, I could think that Seattle has the best defense, and going against the Minnesota Vikings offense that can't operate. They got some good players, but they don't have anybody that can get those players the ball. So all Seattle's really got to do is stop the run, which was pretty decent last week on Minnesota, but they're going against a completely different defense now. They just got to stop the Minnesota run and force this backup of a backup's backup to win the game with his arm, and I doubt that's going to happen. I doubt there's a scenario where he even keeps that close. Seattle, their offense is a lot better. Their offense is dominant. Smith and Njigba is on pace to break records. I think he'll get over 2,000 receiving yards this year. Like, I don't see anybody slowing him down. He's got great routes, all that stuff. This Minnesota Vikings defense is pretty decent, but like I said, the Seattle's offense is a different animal right now. I think they're going to come out into this game. This is like a must-win situation. They're in a very tough division. They got to... they're facing the Rams not too long, so that could be the game where they get their number 1 spot back. I hope not, because I got the Rams to win the division. But anyway, Seattle definitely going to win this game, and it should be by a blowout. They've been winning a lot of their games by blowouts. This defense plays with pride. They don't want to give up points. They want to remain one of the top defenses, so they're going to, even if they're blowing a team out, I don't think they're just going to play all lackadaisical on defense and nonchalantly. I think they're going to keep, throwing their balls in the face of the opponents. Money on the Seattle Seahawks. That's the second money pick of the week, y'all. We got one more money pick coming up. Stay tuned. Next game, we got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers are -9.5. Chargers got blown out before their bye week. Chargers are coming out of a bye. Raiders are just god-awful. They're the perfect punching bag for any team looking to take out some aggression. I got to go with the Los Angeles Chargers here, -9.5 to win and to cover. Los Angeles Chargers got to get into playoff mode. They got Kansas City kind of creeping up on their tails. Who knows? Nobody's going to doubt Kansas City or count them out this year until they're officially out. Especially with, all the magic we've seen happen for Kansas City. They want to catch up to Denver, which is very possible. Denver's barely been winning all their games, but yet there they stand at 9-2. So I'm gonna have to go Chargers to win in the cover. Herbert is legit. He's got a lot of weapons on offense, but we already saw their offense looks a lot different when that offensive line is banged up. But I'm hoping that after the bye week they figure some things out, got some sort of strategy cooking to help out this offense, give Herbert a little bit more time, or maybe find some quick short routes, like open up some new plays in the playbook, because this offensive line is a little shaky right now. But hopefully they toughen up during their bye week. This defense is good. They could, Geno Smith's a turnover machine. Raiders got nothing. Bowers is pretty much their only offensive weapon. Then you got Gentry as well, but it's easy to stop those two, especially when Geno Smith, he's not doing anything incredible. I don't see him doing anything incredible this year. He just looks frustrated. I always see him whining and bitching on the sidelines, complaining. They fired Chip Kelly, so maybe the reason why I can't put money on this game, maybe their offense comes out putting up points, doing things that the Chargers weren't really prepared for. Nothing that I think is going to make them win or look like a much better team. Like, they're still the same crappy team. Geno Smith doesn't have to throw those interceptions. A lot of those interceptions are right to the other person. So it's not bad play calling that's making him suck so bad, And I don't think it's bad play calling that allows your quarterback to get sacked 10 times. Geno Smith got sacked 10 times last week. That offensive line is atrocious. The Raiders defense, maybe Max Crosby can get after. Maybe he can get after Herbert because of the weak offensive line, and that guy plays hard no matter what. I said this in another video. Raiders, no matter how much they suck, no matter how much the team they're playing sucks or how good they are, they could just magically have a good game where Geno Smith doesn't throw 4 picks and they actually keep it close and make it interesting. That could very well happen here. That's why I can't put money on this game, but the chances of that happening are slim in my opinion, so I gotta go with Los Angeles Chargers to winning the cover, the 9.5. Next game, we got the Buffalo Bills at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are plus 3.5 for like the 4th week in a row. Let's see. They're plus 3.5 now. They were plus 3.5 last week. They were minus 5.5. Anyway, 3.5's been a number a lot for the Steelers this year. I don't think they cover the number this time. Bills are in a must-win situation. Steelers not so much. Steelers have been letting teams in their division crawl back, like the Ravens and the Bengals, but the Bengals beat the Ravens, so Steelers could probably afford another loss or two and still win their division. Buffalo Bills, this is must win for them. If they got other teams, that wild card spot, it looks like in the AFC is going to be up for grabs. Doesn't look like Bills have a great chance at catching New England, especially this week. New England's playing the Giants. Now, Giants always give New England a tough matchup, so we'll see what happens there. And New England's a little banged up, but we'll get to that game later. I think Bills should get back to looking like the Bills. I was never high on the Bills' offense this year. If you look back and watch my videos, I didn't like any of Josh Allen's receivers. I said the offense, it's usually Josh Allen makes plays or the offense doesn't make any plays. But you do got James Cook. And the Steelers' defense has not looked good at all this year. They've had a couple games where they stood out, but there's been way more bad than there has been good, and there's been bad after the good. So that just tells me that the rest of the year, they're not going to be a standout defense. They're going to give up points. Maybe not 30, but they'll give up like 23 points. There's a chance they could look decent, especially against this Bills offense. Like I said, it doesn't have a lot of weapons. There is no Kincaid, and it does look like since Kincaid got injured, like this offense really struggles moving the ball and getting points. I'm not sure how, but he must open up a lot for that offense. Well, that and the fact that Allen really has no other options to throw the ball to. He needs like a stud receiver, like a guy he could just chuck the ball up to. He needs a quick guy that can just get open in the slots. Like, I feel like he doesn't have that consistent target all year anyway. He hasn't. Who's the guy he's been throwing the ball consistently to? He's out, Kincaid. So, but then you got Rodgers coming back from a non-throwing hand injury. But he hasn't. He's looked good. I think people will crap on Rodgers more than they should, but it's just because he's Rodgers and he's not playing incredible. I think that's why he gets the hate, but he's not really playing too detrimental. He can't run out of the pocket. He's immobile, so there's all that. You kind of hold your breath every time he gets hit because he's pretty old, and he doesn't have the great masseuses Tom Brady had, so he could get injured, and he has gotten injured. Even last year, the year before that, Rodgers, you could say, is a little bit injury prone if he gets a good lick. But I'm just going to go with the Bills to kind of come out with a great game plan, fight their way. Steelers, I feel like, would disappoint me if I picked them, and I would be like, of course, the Bills. Now they want to play good. You know what I mean? Like, they look like shit the past few weeks. Now they want to play good. I don't think the Bills are going to continue to look like shit throughout the whole year. And yeah, I don't know. Steelers are kind of on like a win-lose thing. Like, they haven't consistently won or consistently lost this year. They're 6-5. They did lose against the Bears, but they covered that. Let's go Rudolph. And they covered against, oh, hold up, Pittsburgh. How many covers in a row do we have here, Pittsburgh? Not many. They didn't cover against Chargers. Alright. This video is going on too long. No matter how many games there are, somehow I'm always getting these videos over 50 minutes. I apologize. It's not like anyone's going to watch it. I'm wasting my time. I'm posting this literally an hour before the game starts. Let's get to the night game. Now, Sunday night and Monday night, I don't take any notes for, because those games are a lot later, so I got a while before I can make those picks and put more thought into it. But we got the Denver Broncos at the Washington Commanders. Commanders are plus 6.5. Commanders haven't covered 6 straight. Now, I could be wrong, and it could be 5 straight. I could look at it real quick, but I already wasted too much time. So I'm going to go for that fact. I'm picking the Commanders to cover, Broncos to win. Broncos offense has had a lot of games where they haven't done much and looked really flat, especially against bad teams. So I think that could be one of these games. Something's got to happen for Washington to cover. They got to cover. So that's all. I'm picking Washington until they cover till the end of the year. Then I'll go back to putting thought into their games. But they haven't covered 6 straight. So, and I've never seen that. So I'm picking Washington for science on this one. Next game, we got the New York Giants at the New England Patriots. Patriots are minus 7.5. I've only gotten 2 Pats games wrong this year. The Pats and the Saints are my best team. Both teams, I've only picked 2 of their games wrong each. Let's keep that streak continuing. We've been on a hot streak on Monday night. We're 11 for 17 on Monday night games this year. Let's keep that trend continuing. I'm going to go with the New York Giants plus 7.5 to cover, New England Patriots to win. Patriots have a much needed, much deserved bye next week. They're going to want to win this game. Keep that hot streak going into the bye. The worst thing to happen right now would be to win all these games and then lose before your bye. Sit on that one loss for 2 weeks. Sit on all your wins for 1 week each. But, you got to still game plan for the next game. But then that loss, you sit on for 2 weeks. And then I don't know who they're playing out of the bye, but they still got to play the Jets, the Dolphins. So their schedule can't be that much tougher the rest of the year. Even though the Dolphins have been looking better, they got to play the Bills again. Their schedule might be a little bit more tougher than it's been the rest of the year, but they're a legit team. I've watched their games. I've watched all these games for all these teams, but Patriots are legit. They're not getting lucky with these wins. They got a good defense. Drake May is legit. But these Giants, they always put up a fight. I think Jackson Dart's coming back. Even though the Giants have lost everybody on offense, they're still putting up points. They're still moving the ball. Their defense is still playing with some sort of fight. And this is a Giants versus Patriots game. I feel like everybody, whenever Giants and Patriots play, it's just close. Everybody brings up 2007 and 2012 and Eli Manning, the Kryptonite, and Giants, the Patriots killers, and all that stuff. Giants, it's always a good game. It's always close. I expect it to be that way. I feel like a lot of these games are going to be close. We might only get to see 2 or 3 blowouts this week, and the rest of them are going to be pretty close. Patriots are a little bit banged up on the offensive line, so maybe the Giants can get to May a little bit and shake him up. And people say, well, we all know that, like, when you can pressure May, that's when, he doesn't look as great. That's every fucking quarterback. I hate when people say that. But anyway, so I never say, like, oh, they could pressure him, like he's gonna throw balls off target. No fucking shit, Sherlock. That's what pressure is. But yeah, so the Patriots, they got to be exhausted. They've been winning all these games. I've seen signs of it with the Falcons and other teams where, like, teams they should have just blown out of the water. They keep alive in the game. And the Patriots, they're going to make sure they win the game because they're well coached and all that. I think Vrabel's a great coach. And they're going to make sure, like, no matter how out of rhythm the guys are, that they're going to still come out with a win. And I believe that'll happen here. Giants will make it difficult and frustrating than it has to be for a 2-win team to be given to a 10-win team. But that's the Giants versus the Patriots for you. I'm telling you. If the Patriots blow out the Giants here, I guess I'll be a little stoked. Not really at all. Anyway, I don't care. I want the cover, so I won't be stoked. I'll be pissed. But these games are always close, and I expect them to stay close until they stop being close and they stop bringing up the Super Bowls and making that the storyline every time these teams meet up. Maybe, those days are over. But we're almost, 20 years later, and that's all they talk about. But they don't play each other that often. They play each other once, maybe every 4 years. So, 20 years, they probably only play each other. This will be like their 4th matchup since those Super Bowls. But anyway, if you stuck around this long, you're a true Schmidt head. Sorry I took so long on this video for only 12 fucking games, but I watched a lot of video, put a lot of thought into these, took a lot of notes, all that, yada, yada, yada. And I failed everybody on Thanksgiving, 0 for 4 with Thanksgiving and Black Friday. I don't ever want to pick that bad again. So I'm a little nervous. Hopefully we get some wins this week and we don't keep losing. But I definitely put way more thought into these than those 4 games. So don't forget to click like, comment, subscribe. Please share with everybody. 100 subscribers and I'll post more videos. Plus show you all my bets for free. I don't need no Patreon. Like, if these guys on YouTube are winning their bets, what the fuck you need a Patreon for? I don't understand it. Give out all your bets for free. Why not? I've been winning money this year. I want everybody to win money. I don't want, and then hopefully those people tip me. I would like a tip. I appreciate tips, especially for the free picks. I should get a tip, but if I don't, that's what a tip is. They're appreciated, not expected. Anyway, video's going on too long. Peace.